Hi, I'm Dr. Katherine Firth.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peta Freestone.
Hi, I'm Dr. Liam Connell.
In this video, we collected some of our key insights from our new book, Your PhD Survival Guide, Planning, Writing and Succeeding in Your Final Year, part of the Insider Guides to Academia series. The book focuses on the project management, personal effectiveness and writing skills you need to survive, but also to thrive in the final 6 to 12 months of a PhD.
In 2012, I founded the Thesis Bootcamp program that has proven a success for thousands of students around the world. So it was my utter delight to return to working with the original Thesis Bootcamp team, Katherine and Liam, to work on Your PhD Survival Guide, which we kind of think is a little bit like a Thesis Bootcamp in a book.
A key challenge that we've found from working with students at this point in the journey over years and years and years is this idea of bringing it all together. The part where you take all of those individual chapters and turn them into something coherent and cohesive. Now, this requires some pretty advanced project management skills, which is something that you might not ever have actually been taught or formally trained in, but you're expected to just kind of know how to do. It can often be really difficult, because it's not just a matter of taking those individual chapters and copy-pasting them into the one much bigger document. It actually requires some pretty deep, critically reflective thinking about the big problem that sits at the heart of your thesis, that your thesis will solve, and your solution to that problem. And sometimes this can require some painful decisions about what you keep in the thesis and what you just need to cut out. Now, this is a really fantastic skill for you to have, the ability to shift your conceptual thinking from the individual components, which are the chapters or the papers or publications, to the project as a whole, which is the thesis or the artifact that you will ultimately hand in. In the book, we discuss some strategies about how to go about doing this, and some of those strategies we actually used in the writing of this book. But at heart and underneath all of that is you coming to terms with what it is that you know and you can explain about your research after all the years of work that you've put in to get to this point. After all this research and thinking and wrestling with this topic, you are likely the best person in the whole world to be able to complete your thesis, and only you can do it. However, you're not alone in this, and hopefully these insider guides will help.
Over the years of talking with PhD students, some of the challenges and opportunities I often find come up in conversation revolve around things like self-management, motivation, confidence or lack thereof, and the changes in identity that take place over the course of the candidature, over the years as you move from being a student to an independent researcher in your own right. But while these are recurring themes, and there's also similarities in the general expectations of what a PhD itself entails, at the end of the day, we're all individuals. So one of the skills that I think is crucial to develop across your PhD is to be able to sift through all the available advice on how to be an effective researcher, how to get a PhD done, and decide what's most relevant for you. So this is especially important when this advice is about the practicalities of personal productivity. Things like working with your supervisor or establishing and maintaining other collegial relationships. Or when it comes to managing tough times, getting through stress. And just like we learn to evaluate and synthesize large swathes of research, deciding what's relevant to you and being able to critically evaluate how to advise will only set you up in good stead. So just because your office mate works long hours doesn't mean you have to. And indeed, we debunk some unhelpful myths in the book that kind of crop up around PhD working environments and ways of working. And similarly, if a colleague swears by a particular time tracking or project tracking software, progress tracking, and you find that using that software ends up taking you more time than it saves, then try something else. Look further afield. So overall, I guess what I'm saying is keep an open mind. Try new methods and techniques on for size to see if they can improve the way you work and your ability to get the PhD done. But if it doesn't work for you, that's fine. I repeat, if it doesn't work for you, that is fine. By deciding what helps you personally best manage your motivation, your time, your output, you'll assemble a set of tools. It's like putting extra tools in a toolbox over the course of your PhD, tools that you know work for you. And then you'll be able to draw out one of these tools for a variety of challenges and situations in the years to come, no matter what your career is.
One of the things that's the most challenging, but also one of the places where we get the most support in a PhD is with the writing. You might feel that your writing of your thesis represents your thinking and what you have to say. But it also represents the input from your supervisors, and as you go further, perhaps from peer reviewers, perhaps from people at conferences, and in the submission process from the reviewers, the examiners of your thesis, but also your later self. This is one of the reasons why in the book, as well as in other places, we really recommend drafting. We are massive fans of the terrible, loose, experimental, get it out there, try it out first draft. Not because we think that that's good writing, but because we know it is the first stage where you lay words on a page, you are then able to edit it, you're able then to work it up, you're able then to show it to your supervisor when it's in a slightly more refined state. They'll give feedback, you'll come back and reflect on it later, and that what we are not encouraging you to do is to only write when you are ready to write, only write when you feel that you're worthy of writing, because this writing process is in fact one that's iterative, that has input both from more experienced researchers who are not you and from the more experienced researcher who will one day be you.